Hi, can anybody see me and can anybody hear me? Hopefully you can. This is a bit scary. Exciting as well. Just going to make sure my volume's up. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm counting on people to be sort of listening in and watching and hopefully asking me some questions. Good. Yeah. Welcome. This is my first live stream on YouTube. My name's James. I run Crawford-Clark Close-Up, as you can probably tell, as you're on my channel. My wife says she can see and hear me okay, so good to go. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. It means that I've done it right, and I'm a little bit of a technophobe, so there we go. It works. Yeah, so if you are watching along and you want to ask me a question or anything, if you're on YouTube, I don't know exactly how it works if you're not a subscriber to YouTube, but if you're able to send me any questions, you can use the live chat. I'll have a look on Facebook as well and see if any questions and things are coming up on there. But it'd be amazing to chat with you guys about anything you want to. It's not going to be a really long one, I don't think, just for this first one, really. I'll probably restrict it to about an hour. So, yeah, join me between now and 3 o'clock here, UK time, this Friday, and we can chat about anything you like. Now, obviously, I put a video out probably about a month ago now on the channel, actually, sort of explaining what I was doing and the fact that I'm not stopping my videos at the moment, although I haven't put a lot of new content on recently. That's simply because I'm trying to create a bit of a backlog of material that I can sort of upload as soon as it's ready. But a lot of the videos I make are quite time consuming at the moment, and I am still working. I'm working from home as well as from the office that I work in as well, so it's a nice luxury today actually for a nice sunny Friday here in the UK that I've got the time off today. So yeah, it's all good. So that means that's why I'm doing this live stream sort of middle of the day really, because I thought I'll test it out, like test the water, see how it goes, and yeah, we'll go from there. And there's a possibility that I might do more of these if they prove popular. Never know. So it just depends, I guess, if people are tuning in and sending me questions. If we're going to get a good conversation going, then it's all good. Yeah. So to go back to the channel, I am working on some videos at the moment, as my wife would tell you. I do spend a great deal of time at the laptop editing videos together. I've got a lot of content that I'm working on, and I usually work to quite a strict schedule. So usually by month I know what kind of videos I'm putting out. I just kind of have like particular months where I do anniversary videos, perhaps like if a certain film or TV show is celebrating an anniversary, then I'll tend to put it on for that particular time. And yeah, and then we just sort of go from there really, and I work around that. So I work around the new releases, although of course they're a little bit sparse at the moment as all the cinemas and theatres are shut around the world. It's a strange time basically. So it doesn't mean that I've completely abandoned the channel. I haven't. This channel I'd launched in June 2018, so it's actually nearly 2 years old. And although I don't have a huge number of subscribers at the moment, I can see that it is building a bit more momentum and some more people are showing interest in the videos. I've recently sort of replied to some of the comments on some of my videos as well, and there's some really nice ones coming through, so thanks for those. And yeah, it's great to get sort of conversation going, even just in the comments as well, because a lot of the videos that I put up tend to be sort of ranking videos, like sort of ranking series. I know the first one I did couple of years ago when I started the channel was the Pixar films. So I did like individual reviews of each of those films. I think it was up to The Incredibles 2. That was the kind of that was the film that was kind of launching at the time when I started this channel. So yeah, yeah, lots of great response to the video so far, so thank you for that. Just to give you an idea of what's going to happen for the rest of the year, obviously I'm not going to be reviewing a lot of new releases at the moment. As I've said, there aren't really any at the moment, so that's going to be sort of put on hold. I am working through my James Bond videos. I've just had first comment through actually. Do you have more Bond videos coming up? Well, actually, I am just answering that. Sergeant Day AM, sorry if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Yes, I do have more Bond videos coming up, and I've got up to the Pierce Brosnan films at the moment. So if you go back through the channel, you can see everything from the start, from Dr. No, from Sean Connery's first, up to the end of Timothy Dalton's at the moment. So up to License to Kill are the movie reviews on the channel at the moment. I will be doing the Pierce Brosnan ones. I'm working on those at the moment. I finished GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies. I'm working on The World Is Not Enough at the moment. So as I say, it's a long process putting these videos together because I've got a wealth of material that I'm trying to add into these videos just to sort of beef up the reviews a little bit. So I think at the moment my edit of The World Is Not Enough is coming in at about 20 minutes. So it's one of my longer videos actually as individual reviews for a film. So that's coming. It will be coming towards the end of the year. I'm kind of basing these last Bond reviews on the hope that No Time to Die still comes out in November, because obviously they've changed the date. It was originally going to have been out already, and we all would have seen it, and we would all probably still be really excited as James Bond fans about the 25th film. But with the world as it is at the moment, it's been delayed till November, which actually is not too bad compared to some of the films that have been delayed and some of the massive delays that some big studio films have faced. I mean, I think the newest Fast and Furious film is the best example of that, where it's actually been delayed a whole year. So that was due to come out this month, I think, but it's actually coming out May 2021. So either they're still doing a lot of work on it, or the studio just thought, well, we need to find, a suitable slot that we can put this in that's going to guarantee the most amount of people to see it. So yeah, May 2021 if you're a Fast and Furious fan. I've seen the first 7, I think. I still haven't seen the last one that was released, number 8. So yeah, let me know if it's any good, and I'll get on to watching it. I did enjoy some of those films, but certainly the last few were the better ones. I think Fast 5, 6, and 7 I enjoyed. I think 5 was really sort of action packed and really full on. So yeah, I got a lot out of Fast 5, but 6 and 7 were good as well. So yeah, at some point I'll get around to watching 8 before May next year when number 9 comes out. Yeah, so thanks for that question. Yeah, there are more Bond videos coming up on the channel. I'm going to be doing the Pierce Brosnan films. I'll get my words out in a minute. So obviously GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. As I've been doing with all the other Bonds, I'm doing like the greatest moments, or my opinion of their greatest moments. So 5 key moments from their tenure in the role. And then I'll be moving on to obviously Daniel Craig, and I want to tie in his best moments with the release of No Time to Die. So there may be a slight delay on that one. I would say if the film's coming out still in November, I would hope to get the Daniel videos out by the end of the year. So by sort of Christmas time, they'll all be done. I am planning to do a sort of ranking of the Ian Fleming Bond novels as well. I do have a lot of the continuation books. I just haven't got around to reading them yet. So I've been a bit slack, to be fair, with my reading. I've got so much to do, so many books on the radar that it's I just don't know where to start really. So I am making my way through the Ian Fleming books, and I want to make sure I've read all 14, I think it is, of those, including the short stories, to be able to do a ranking video of those. That will, again, probably be one of the last videos in this sort of James Bond retrospective that I do. So expect that one towards the end of the year. Right, what can we talk about? Any questions that anybody's got? I know I'm going to be kind of glancing down at my phone a little bit, so apologies for that, because I've kind of put this all over my Facebook and my Twitter for the YouTube channel and my own, and some people have said, "Oh yeah, cool, I'll be there." So yeah, when you're logged in and ready to go, feel free to ask me whatever you like. But generally, how are people doing at the moment during these strange times? I'm speaking for myself here in the UK. It's just quite eerie, really, just sort of walking around and just seeing just how quiet it is. I mean, I would say most people are being fairly good. Certainly where I live here in Somerset, people are sticking to the social distancing rules, and yeah, I mean, if it's any indication, whenever I go out with my wife and we take our dog out for a walk, there are very few people around. So people obviously are taking it seriously, which is great. It's good to hear. It is an anxious time. I mean, I work within community mental health, so we have a lot of clients who are obviously suffering at the moment, and like it's sort of heightening their anxiety, not knowing when this lockdown is going to end, how and when things are going to get back to normal. It's it is a bit scary, really, but you know, the whole morale thing of let's stick together, let's get through it together, and we'll be fine. We'll be good, I'm sure. Right, I've been trying to think of some things that I can talk to you guys about as well. So one of the things that I did actually to sort of stay on the topic of James Bond at the moment is I know that Pierce Brosnan himself was doing a GoldenEye watch along last Sunday, and I decided to tune into that, and it was good fun. You can tell that he is advancing in age, bless him. So he was getting a bit tired as he was going, as the sort of watch along was going on. But you could tell how much he enjoyed going back over the film, and it is one of the better films. Certainly, in my opinion, it's probably the best one he did. I do enjoy The World Is Not Enough as well, but GoldenEye is probably the strongest of the Bond films that he did. But I've got to say, I'm partial to Mrs. Doubtfire as well. Pierce Brosnan is slimy in it, but I just love that film. I did a Robin Williams sort of retrospective as well. Some my picks for some of his greatest screen roles as well, and I put that on the channel August last year, actually, because August 2019 was 5 years since we lost the brilliant Robin Williams. I remember being on my honeymoon, actually, and just seeing the news coming up, and it was one of those that I genuinely felt quite devastated by, because the circumstances behind it were so sad, and it's sad to think that he didn't realise, I guess, how much people needed him. And you know, if there's ever a time at the moment to stick on a movie to cheer you up, you can't really go wrong with any of Robin Williams' films. You know, Hook, Mrs. Doubtfire, Patch Adams, if you like. I'm just trying to think of Robin Williams films off the top of my head. It's quite difficult, actually. One of my favourites is his performance in 1 Hour Photo. It's very creepy and very against the sort of stereotype, but he is really good, really captivating in that. Yeah, cool. So again, that was another video on the channel. So if you're interested in Robin Williams movies and you're interested to know what I think of his performances and what are my favourite Robin Williams performances, then you can check out the video on the channel. 15 minutes in already. I've got a response from Sergeant Day AM. I'm fine. I live in the US on the border with Canada. The border is closed except for the truckers taking goods back and forth across. Okay, right. Well, here we go. Not just here in the UK. I've got people listening to me from the US. Thank you very much for tuning in for this. I really appreciate it. Keep the comments coming in. Ask me anything you like. What sort of things have I been thinking about? Favorite actor is one of the questions that I thought might get asked by somebody. I'm going to jump straight in there and say one of my favorite actors is the late great Jimmy Stewart. James Stewart. It's a Wonderful Life. One of the best performances of all time, in my opinion. Something I saw on Twitter recently, actually, is some of my friends who've got YouTube channels as well have sort of put a list of their top 5 perfect films that they would class as perfect. And I can't remember for the life of me what I actually wrote. So if you bear with me a second, I am going to check back against my Twitter. I know this is not great, me just constantly looking down at my phone, but I am going to tell you what my 5 personal favourite movies of mine. When you want to type really quickly, you never can. Really put on the spot now. Right, so what did I decide? Let me have a look. I said, right, so following the recent trend, 5 films that I consider perfect are 12 Angry Men, the Sidney Lumet film from 1957, which incidentally was the first film that I reviewed on this channel. Back to the Future, just because it's amazing and perfect sort of structure for a movie and can just watch it anytime. It's a Wonderful Life, again, that I've just discussed. Brilliant lead performance from James Stewart. Psycho, because probably the best Hitchcock film, that or Vertigo, and The Silence of the Lambs. For me, they are 5 films that I consider perfect. I know there's lots more, and there's loads more films that I love as well, but those are 5 that really sort of stick with me, that I could probably just stick on any time and enjoy. If I was putting on a guilty pleasure, I'd put on one that I've already mentioned, Mrs. Doubtfire. I love that film. I don't care what anybody says. Brilliant lead performance from Robin Williams, as I've said already. Pierce Brosnan is great. Sally Field, Mara Wilson, pre-Matilda days, it's all just great. I love it. It's funny. It's really sweet. It's quite bittersweet at the end. It's a great film. I love it. Anybody else like Mrs. Doubtfire, or is it just me? Okay, 20 minutes in nearly already, and I've just been rambling. Has anybody got anything that they want to ask me? Anything at all? You can send it to me on Facebook if you like. You can comment on the live chat. Whatever you like. How are things in the US at the moment, Sergeant Day AM? How's it going? How are you coping with lockdown at the moment? Been watching any decent movies recently? Let me know what you think. It's a really nice day here today. I tell you what, I picked a good day to take a day's leave from work. Nice long weekend. Sit out in the garden a bit later, have a drink, play with the dog. Yeah, be nice. A nice relaxing afternoon, I think. Yeah. What else can I talk about? What can I mention? I've kind of talked about franchises and things at the moment. Obviously, I'm a James Bond fan, as you can tell by just all the chat so far, and also some of the videos on the channel. Sergeant Day AM said, I've been watching Bond movies. Well, there's no better way to spend your time, in my opinion. I know my wife would disagree, but actually, talking of my wife, we're watching a Bond movie every weekend at the moment in the run up to No Time to Die. So we've done the first three. We've got Thunderball to come next. It's been a while since I've watched that one actually, so I'd be interested to see how that one holds up, because I was never 100% sure with it. I'm one of those that kind of thinks the underwater sequences do sort of drag the pace of the film down a little bit, but I mean, it was the height of Bond mania though in the mid '60s. So it was, until the more recent films, it's still one of the highest grossing films in the series when you sort of figure in inflation costs into that as well. So yeah, so Thunderball coming this weekend. Looking forward to it. That's our Sunday morning viewing at the moment. We sort of tend to wake up Sunday morning, and first thing I sort of say to my poor wife is, right, it's time for James Bond, and kind of get that look like, oh, do we have to? Yeah, we do. Yeah, come on, let's watch the next one. So what Bond movies have you been watching then, Sergeant Day AM? Any particular ones take your fancy at the moment? Are you kind of more of a fan of the more realistic ones, like the sort of way that the Daniel Craigs have been going, and the sort of, well, I'd say the Timothy Dalton ones perhaps as well, the more realistic movies? Or are you more of a fan of the outlandish Roger Moore going into space kind of adventure movies? Let me know which are your favourites. I'm actually going to be having a catch up with a friend of mine who's got his own YouTube channel, a uni friend of mine called Sean. We're doing a Zoom this afternoon, and yeah, it'll be nice to catch up with him, because it's been quite a long time actually. I'd say it's been over a year since we've had a proper sort of catch up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be good fun. I'm going to try and record it with his permission to get it on the channel as well, so we can have a bit of a Bond and general movies chit chat as well. It'll be good fun, I think. So another comment, I'm just looking. Sergeant Day AM, I've commented on 5 of your Bond reviews over the last couple of days. How long before you normally reply? Okay, so I have noticed that you commented, and I will, as soon as this live stream's over, I'm going to respond to those, because I've been meaning to do it. I literally went on a couple of days ago. I've been really shoddy with it because I had such a backlog of comments that I needed to reply to, and I've been meaning to do it for ages, and I just completely forgot to do it until a couple of days ago, where I just thought, you know what, I've got time now, I'm just going to type my thoughts away, and I promise I will respond to those. I'll respond to those as soon as I'm done here. So yeah, so it's all good. Mark, hello. Mark Hoggins, just recently made friends with you on Facebook. How you doing? Got a couple of guests on the live stream. I like it. There was me thinking I'd just be sort of sat here just talking to myself, or the worst case scenario that the live stream just wouldn't work at all, and I'd be kind of sat here thinking, well, just chatting away to myself and not broadcasting to anybody. Mark's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. What are you doing? What are you doing this Friday? Anything exciting apart from watching along to this live stream? I saw actually, Mark, that you've got the Quantum of Solace expanded soundtrack as well. I've got to give that a listen at some point because obviously I've been working my way back through the films, and the music of the films as well is something that I'm really keen to discuss in a bit more detail. So one of the videos that I'm going to be doing is actually like a ranking of the James Bond theme songs. I've got to say, I'm not a fan particularly of Jack White and Alicia Keys' song for Quantum, but David Arnold's score is another solid one, I think, of the 5 that he did for the series. So I think my favourite of his is probably Tomorrow Never Dies, just because I think coming after GoldenEye, where they very rarely used any of the Bond theme at all in Eric Serra's score, David Arnold just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna put it out there, and I'm just going to use as much of the Bond theme as I can, just whenever Bond's doing anything exciting. Mark hasn't had a chance to listen to the soundtrack yet. When you do, let me know what you think of it, and I'm going to try and look out for the sort of expanded cues from the film, because I think it's always interesting to hear the music that you don't usually get to hear on the soundtracks, because they're so limited, like sort of limited track numbers on most of the soundtracks. I know they did I think, which ones have they done recently? They've done The World Is Not Enough, an expanded version, like an official release, and Die Another Day as well. Wasn't particularly keen on the score for Die Another Day from David Arnold, so I'm not sure I'd be that worried about listening to that one in great detail, but I do like the score for The World Is Not Enough. It's another solid score. Right, you're gonna have to bear with me a second. I've been talking for nearly half an hour straight and just realised that I'm just not drinking enough. So there we go. That's better. Okay. Anything anybody wants to ask me, feel free to send it my way. I honestly don't mind. You can ask me whatever you want. Whether I'll be able to answer it or not, I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. So Mark's actually said his favourite David Arnold soundtrack is for Quantum of Solace, and Die Another Day is a close second. It is interesting because Die Another Day is obviously a very polarising film. There are some that enjoy it for its sort of quirkiness and sort of outrageousness, but there are others that just think it is really bad. I tend to, I guess, fall in the latter category. The music isn't terrible by any means. I think it's just one of the soundtracks that I've probably listened to the least of the Bonds. And Mark also says CD also comes with music from the video game for Quantum of Solace. Never played it actually, so I wouldn't know how good the video game music is for that one. But I imagine if it's, it's going to be David Arnold still as well, so I guess it'll be interesting cues. Right, what else can I talk about? What's been going on in the world recently, or what have I been watching? In the UK, they had a TV show last night called The Big Night In, which is basically like Lenny Henry, who normally does like big sort of like comic relief or children in need, those sort of big charity fundraising appeals. They did one for obviously this coronavirus situation at the moment. It's called the Big Night In. Quite aptly named, I guess, because there were literally about 3 people presenting in the studio, and they were just sort of live streaming to people from home. And there was actually some funny sketches on there, to be fair. Dawn French came back to do like a little Vicar of Dibley skit, which was amusing. It was okay. It wasn't brilliant. I would say probably one of the better sketches last night they saved for the last, which was Matt Lucas and David Walliams bringing Little Britain back. I thought the way they did that was budget Little Britain was really good. It was made me laugh anyway. So that's what you want, isn't it? At the end of the day. And I think they raised just over £27 million, which is amazing, really. If you consider like those sort of shows, there's normally a lot more fundraising, people doing, sort of sponsored bike rides, cake baking, things like that. They didn't really have that this time round. It's just phone numbers, text numbers for people to donate 5, 10, 20, 30 pounds, and it's amazing the amount that they've raised so far. It's incredible, really, because I think people are quick to forget that life still goes on even when things kind of ground to a halt. There are still people that need the support. There's vulnerable adults, vulnerable children as well. There was a segment about domestic abuse as well on the show last night, which was obviously hard to watch, but it's extraordinary, really, how many calls the police get for things like that. It's staggering, really. I think like in the last year they had 500,000 domestic abuse calls, which is shocking, really. But there we go. People still need support. There are so many people out there that are struggling so much at the moment. Whether it's simply just the idea of isolating, or the idea of just being cut off from everybody else. Particularly if you live alone, it must be very hard. I'm fortunate in the fact that my wife and I and my dog, we've got 3 of us in the house. Always trying to keep the dog entertained, so there's always something to do. We're trying to keep ourselves occupied at the moment. We're sort of going out for sort of regular walks and things. So it's important to keep yourself busy. That's what I would say. If you're going to take anything away, any moral message away from this live stream today, keep yourself busy, keep your brain occupied, and it just makes you really appreciate, I think, when you are cut off from other family members and friends. It does make you appreciate that it's like how much you need other people around you, I think. Okay. Any more questions? Anything from anybody? I'm quite surprised I've managed to keep talking for this long so far, actually. 34 minutes is not too bad. I was going to say actually about the structure for my videos, because I know a lot of people a lot of YouTubers will actually film themselves, and they'll sort of incorporate sort of images or stills or clips from whatever they're reviewing. I knew from the outset with this particular channel that I wanted to have my recording isolated. So I have a procedure where I I write out my reviews or type them out, record them separately, and then I fit everything that I want to fit within the review around that recording. And I've got some questions coming in. Woohoo! Okay, let's go. I will go to Sergeant Day AM's question first. So I mentioned about Back to the Future earlier, the first film, which I think is an absolute classic and is one I'm going to be reviewing before the end of the year because it's 35th anniversary this year. It came out a couple of years before I was born. But he's asked me, do you like Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3? Yes, I do. It's been a little while since I've watched those, actually. I'd say the first one I've seen far more often than the sequels, but I really enjoyed 2 and 3. I think I always found 2 really, really intricate, really fascinating, the way that the story unfolds. 3 is good, don't get me wrong, but it's probably my least favourite of the trilogy. That could be because I've watched it the least amount of times, but I think it could also be with the whole sort of Wild West theme that goes through that movie. Because it's a genre that, like the westerns, is a genre that I'm not really au fait with, to be honest. So I think perhaps if I sort of get acquainted with a few more classic westerns, then I might appreciate Back to the Future Part 3 a little bit more. But Christopher Lloyd is just fantastic as the Doc in all 3 movies, actually, and it is nice that he gets a love interest in the 3rd film. But yeah, I love the first. The first is a classic, and I do enjoy Part 2 and Part 3. Mark has asked me what my expectations are for No Time to Die. He said for him personally, he's excited for it, just hoping that Safin isn't actually Dr. No or something along those lines. So, spoiler alert, if you're watching this and you don't want to know anything about No Time to Die, I'm not going to spoil anything because there's not a huge amount that we know, to be fair, at the moment, apart from some like sort of plot synopsis, which is in itself very vague. I am really looking forward to it. I think it is going to feel very final for Daniel Craig's Bond. I think if they hadn't released that short sort of behind the scenes video about a month or 2 ago with Kerry Fukunaga sort of saying this will be the final performance for Daniel Craig as Bond, I think if we hadn't seen something like that, I think there could still have been a possibility for more from him. But I think the time is right now. I think he's at that sort of age and that sort of time in his time as Bond that he's wanting to call it a day. And fair dues. Why not go out on top? I mean, the last 2 of his films have raked in so much money, and say what you want about some of the films. I know Casino Royale is fantastic. I love Skyfall as well. Spectre and Quantum are a bit hit and miss for me. There's elements of both of them that I really enjoy, but some parts that I just think, what were they thinking? But I'm hugely excited that Rami Malek is going to be the villain in No Time to Die. I think the character is going to be really fascinating, and I think it's going to be an interesting departure for the Bond series. But you know what? I would love them to go back to a female main villain in the Bond series. I guess the last time they did that really was with Electra King in The World Is Not Enough, and that's 20 years ago now. So I would love to see them do that again. It's something that you so rarely see, actually, in action movies generally, not just Bond. So yeah. But No Time to Die, yeah, I seriously do think it's like so many people say, it kind of seems to be hit and miss at the moment for the Daniel Craig movies. Casino Royale was amazing. Quantum of Solace was a bit of a misfire. Skyfall brought it back again. Whether a lot of that was down to like the 50th anniversary momentum, I don't know, but I still think it's a great movie. And Spectre, I remember coming out from watching Spectre the first time and thinking, oh my god, it's amazing, it's one of the best Bond films ever. And on repeat viewings, I did go to the cinema a few times to see it when it first came out, but on repeat viewing since, I don't think it really holds up all that well, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's one of the lesser films in the series, which is a shame. It is a shame, but I don't think that much happens. I don't think there's a great deal of plot going on in Spectre. So I just hope, in some ways, I know my brother recently sort of put a comment on my on Facebook for me saying, oh, why don't you like Spectre? No Time to Die looks like it's going to be basically Spectre Part 2. And yeah, I can see where he's coming from. And yeah, I understand that it probably is in part going to be Spectre Part 2, and it's going to tie up some of those loose ends from Spectre. But I want, in some ways, No Time to Die to be its own thing, its own film. And I think it will. I hope it will tie in really nicely and sort of weave all the strands of Daniel Craig's 007 together for a strong finale. As to how the film's going to end, I really don't know. I don't know if they've got the balls to kill off James Bond and then just sort of resurrect the character with a new actor in a few years' time. I don't know. I don't even know whether I want them to do that. I kind of, in some ways, I'd love to get back to the traditional kind of Bond endings of, you know, whether he's with Madeline by the end of the film still, or whether he's with somebody else. I'd like it to be, I don't know, I think I'd just like it to be a satisfying end to his Bond tenure. Mark also asks about Back to the Future, whether I remember the cartoon that was shown on Channel 4 in the early 90s. So early 90s, it would have made me about sort of 5 or 6 years old. I don't remember that. I was I don't remember the Back to the Future cartoon. Was it any good? Let me know. I will try and watch some episodes of it if there's some up on YouTube. It's something I've never actually considered watching, strangely, but yeah. I mean, do they stick to the films quite closely, or is it something completely different? Let me know. Any other questions? Anything else that you want to put to me? I wonder if my wife is still actually watching this. She texted me right at the beginning to say she can see me and she can hear me. So that was the main thing. I was worried that people would be able to see but wouldn't be able to hear me talking. But obviously, it goes to show that the mic and the camera are working okay. So not doing too bad. Right. So Mark said. From what he can remember, it was decent, and he was the same age as me when it aired, so fine. Okay, I might try and have a look for that and try and seek out Back to the Future cartoon. And Mark, I will let you know what I think of it. Nearly 45 minutes in. Wowzers. Thank you for listening in and watching. If you have joined me this afternoon, this is a real sort of first attempt at anything like this. This is the first live stream I've done on the channel. I think once I sort of build up the subscribers a little bit more, spread the word about the channel a little bit more, hopefully I'll be able to do another one of these at some point. But yeah, it's really cool to have this to look back on and like in a few years' time think, oh my God, did I really say that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. How amateur did I sound? Just trying to think about some of the other sort of films and TV shows that are coming out this year that I'm interested in seeing. I did a review on the channel for the first series of Afterlife, the Ricky Gervais sort of comedy drama that's on Netflix, and I really loved series 1, so I'm hoping that series 2 is going to be just as good. It actually debuts today on Netflix, so just kind of reminded myself that that's probably the next thing I want to watch, the next new thing. I got into Stranger Things. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Looking forward to the next season. Trying to think what season we're on now. Is it season 4? I think that's the next one. Yeah, either season 4 or season 5, one of the two. Oh, starting to get a sore throat. Need to be drinking more. Right, going to give it about another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to sort of wrap things up, I think, for today. So if you've got any decent questions for me, send them through. Get on that live chat and send me some questions. Just having a look on my Facebook to see if anything's come through, if anybody sent me any questions. Let's log into Facebook for the channel, see if we've got anything on here. Oh, got a couple of messages, a few updates and things. I apologise, it's not particularly exciting, is it? watching me looking down at looking down at my phone all the time. Sergeant Day AM has said, are you going to update your YouTube channel so one can see all of your videos to choose from? Yes, I can do. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. What, to just kind of do like playlists and things? Is it not showing when you're looking on the channel page of all the videos that are coming up? I know I have been a little bit a little bit lazy with adding new videos to playlists, but I'm going to get back onto that once I've got a little bit more new content on the channel. I'm going to be reviewing some sort of classic TV shows hopefully soon as well, so those will probably be the next videos that I put on the channel. At the moment I'm going back through classic British sitcom Fawlty Towers. That is actually, it's 45 years this year since that started back in 1975. And it's one of those classic sitcoms in the fact that there were only 12 episodes ever of that show, and nobody seems to realise that, I don't think, because there's so many great moments in there that that people always assume that there's more of them than there actually are. So I'm going to be doing a sort of Fawlty Towers retrospective, I think, at some point. I might possibly do a video on Father Ted as well, because that's celebrating an anniversary this year as well. So that could be on the channel as well. I will be doing another series of horror movie reviews this year as well. I think the new Halloween movie is still due to come out in October, as long as cinemas are back open again. It's Halloween Kills is the new movie. So yeah, I am looking forward to that in a way, because the last movie was pretty decent. Okay, so Sergeant AM saying To view the Roger Moore era Bond films, I have to search your channel name with film name in the YouTube search bar. Okay, okay. I'll have a look. I'll have a look into that to see if I can make it a little bit easier to get to my video reviews. I shall look into that for you, and hopefully it'll be a bit easier for people to see my videos if they're looking for a particular review of a particular film. Because it's always frustrating when you're having to search through, you know, tens of hundreds of reviews about the same thing to actually get to a decent one that you're looking for. So yeah, I'll bear that in mind, and I'll have a tweak of the channel a little bit and see what I can do with that. Mark said, Father Ted and Mr. Bean are my all-time favourite comedies. Well, it's funny you should say that about Mr. Bean as well, because I grew up with Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean. I've met him once actually, and he's a lovely man, really nice, very very dedicated to his work. Very serious man, but an amazing performer. Blackadder's another classic, but for me it was Mr. Bean growing up, absolutely. And at the moment, I'm actually watching back some of the classic Mr. Bean episodes, and that is another video that I'm going to be putting on at some point soon. Once I've got to the point of watching them all, kind of doing again like another ranking video. Those, to be honest, those are the easiest kind of videos to make, really, the ranking ones. They just take a bit of time because, you know, if you're ranking a whole series of something, you need to have the time to watch back through all of them, I guess. I mean, I've done Harry Potter ranking, I've done, what else have I done? Royal Family is my most popular video on the channels, the UK comedy series. It's great. I love the Royal Family, but I was so surprised when that video was getting so many views. It's by far the most popular video on the channel. So if you're a Royal Family fan, go and check out that video and add to my viewers for that one, please. That would be very very nice of you. Right, another question. Do you like the Ghostbuster movies? That's an interesting question, because Ghostbusters was never really a movie that I watched growing up at all. Really strangely, I've only come to it sort of later on in life, becoming more of a movie fan. I've not watched any of them for a while. So yeah, that's due a watch, definitely. I think, yeah, Ghostbusters is on my list to watch again at some point, because to be honest, I probably wouldn't remember what happens in either of like the two main Ghostbusters movies. I've seen 1 and 2. I haven't seen the newer female-led Ghostbusters. It wasn't really something that appealed to me all that much. Before I get the sexist comments, it's not for the fact that they changed the lead roles to actresses. Not at all. It just didn't really appeal to me to watch it. So I'm sure I'll get around to it at some point. It's on my list with the many hundreds of movies that I still need to watch. I've got so many in my collection. I've got like, I'm just looking over at the moment in the corner of this room to piles of films that I'm trying to sort of clear out from my collection because it's just not enough space for everything. Mark has said Rowan Atkinson's from his neck of the woods, Newcastle upon Tyne. Okay, I didn't know that actually. What did I think of his performance in Never Say Never Again? Nigel Small-Fawcett. Fine. I think for the tone of the film, probably suited it quite well. I wouldn't want to see Rowan Atkinson in an official James Bond movie, to be honest. I don't think he's really got a place in the James Bond series, but you know, he did the job in Never Say Never Again, and the character was supposed to be a bit of a buffoon, I think. So in that sense, he sort of carried that across pretty well. I mean, that was before Mr. Bean as well. I mean, Mr. Bean didn't start until 1990, I think it was, and Never Say Never Again was 1983. So it was a good 7 years before Mr. Bean took off. So it's interesting to see those sort of early roots of Rowan Atkinson and his comedy. I mean, some of his stand-up is so funny. There's a sketch I remember speaking to somebody that I used to work with about where he's reading out a register of class names. Just him standing on the stage as a just as a school headmaster, just reading off a list of names, and it's really funny. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Nearly going for an hour. I can't believe it. It's gone really quickly. Really quickly. Anything else that anybody'd like to ask me? Any other thoughts? I'm going to ask you, Mark, actually, what did you think of the GoldenEye watch-along with Pierce Brosnan? I sort of spoke about it really quickly at the beginning of this live stream, but I don't think you'd joined at that point. What did you make of it? Did you watch along with Pierce last weekend? It was good. As I put on my Facebook, I can think of worse ways to spend a Sunday evening than watching a James Bond movie with James Bond himself. Can't really get much better than that, especially if you're a fan of the series. Well, as I say, what I'm going to do is try and do some more of these once I get a few more subscribers, once there's a bit more interest in the channel. I do want to say thank you if any of my other subscribers are listening into this afternoon. Then I do want to say thank you to you guys, because I know I've been going for a couple of years, and I've had a couple of comments, people sort of commenting on my videos saying you deserve more subscribers, and it's really nice to get comments like that, because the videos do take their time to make. I mean, it's not just me you know, writing my thoughts. It's the recording, it's the editing, it's the piecing everything together. Yeah, these videos take time to produce, and it's really nice to get nice positive feedback on them. And it's for me as well, more than anything else. It's for me to share my thoughts on a particular film, what I like, what I dislike about certain things. Yeah. I will try and do some more of these once I've got perhaps particular topics I can focus on in sort of future ones. But I mean, today was kind of like testing the water, so I'm just pleased that the camera and the microphone work. Even if I was just sat here just talking to myself, I wouldn't mind. But thank you for the questions that you've been sending through today. I've really appreciated those. A couple more minutes. Anybody else got anything they want to ask me? Make it as crazy and out there as you want. Whether I'll answer it or not is another question, but you never know. Oh, thank you. Sergeant AAM, your Bond videos are very informative. I like them. Well, thank you. I try to take as much information from as many different sources as I can. There's a brilliant book if you're interested in the Timothy Dalton time as Bond. There's a book that I was basically just advertising throughout my Timothy Dalton reviews from Kerry Edwards. He disagreed with something that ate him. It's a study of The Living Daylights and License to Kill. If you're a fan of either of those, then definitely give that book a read. It won't take you long. It's short. It's more of an essay than anything else, but it's really worth your time. It's really worth an hour of your time. You read it in an hour easily. But it's interesting to go back to those films having read Carey's comments, and yeah. So thank you for saying that the videos are informative. It's really nice to hear. The last thing you want is somebody in a review just sort of saying, "Oh, I like this because," or "I don't like this," or "I hate this part." You need to give reasons, and I like to back up my reasons with as much kind of critical response as possible as well. That's why I like to sort of weave interesting quotes into the reviews. What's Mark saying here? GoldenEye was my least favourite of Pierce's, but since rewatching it with the man himself, I now adore all 4 of his films for what they are. That's great. I love things like that, when you sort of rediscover something that you kind of initially thought, "Oh, I'm not so keen on." That's why, I think I was paying more attention to Pierce and his comments than actually watching the film last weekend. But fair play, yeah, it's a solid James Bond movie. It's not up there as one of my very best, but I definitely think it's one of Pierce's best. GoldenEye. Okay, right. Well, thank you to Mark, thank you to Sergeant Day AM, and thank you to everybody else, whoever you are, who've decided to join me for this live stream this afternoon. A big thank you to everybody who is subscribing to the channel, or even just watching 30 seconds of one of my videos. It all counts, and the views do mean a lot, and the comments mean even more. So Sergeant Day AM, in a moment I will be responding to your comments on the videos, so look out for those. Right, I'm going to sign off here then, and once again, thank you for all your support, and thanks as always for watching, and as I normally say, that's a wrap. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Stay safe and look out for more new content on the channel really soon. Signing off. See you later, guys.